Most people think travel has become a luxury only influencers can afford. But there's one country where you literally spend less per day than your morning coffee habit, and in return, you're climbing 5th century fortress walls, riding trains that hang off cliffs, and watching blue whales breach just meters away. Sri Lanka doesn't just surprise travelers, it completely rewrites what affordable travel actually means. If you've ever thought travel is too expensive, this is the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Stick around because a single choice unlocks experiences worth hundreds, and it doesn't cost a cent, ignore it, and the opportunity disappears. The real costs break down. Here's what breaks most travelers. They think affordable destinations are a myth. They're not, but Sri Lanka isn't just cheap. It's strategically cheap in ways that blow your mind once you understand the system. Let me be brutally honest. A budget tier traveler, that's someone willing to stay in homestays, eat where locals eat, and move around independently, spends between $18 and $40 a day. Total, not per meal, per day. That includes your bed, food, transport, and entry to attractions. But here's where it gets interesting. That $18 to $40 tier? That's not suffering. You're not eating ramen in a dark hostel room. You're sleeping in someone's home, where a family feeds you breakfast, treats you like family, and you pay $6 to $15 for the night. The same night that costs $150 in Thailand costs you $8 here. Same quality, different country, different pricing. Now, the mid-range tier, and this is what 70% of travelers do, sits at $60 to $80 daily. At this level, you get private rooms in actual hotels. You eat at nice restaurants where the owner knows your name. You hire tuk-tuks without negotiating like it's a street market. And you access every paid attraction without choosing. This is comfort without guilt. Then there's luxury, $150 to $200 plus per day. That's resort life, private drivers, fine dining every meal. But here's the confession. After traveling both ways, the mid-range experience might actually be better. You're not isolated in resorts, you're in the experience. So let's break the actual spend by category, because this is where the real story lives. Accommodation. Dorms cost $5 to $12 nightly. Homestays, and these are legit nice run, $6 to $25. That's a private room. Breakfast included, Wi-Fi. Mid-range hotels jump to $30 to $70. Luxury properties? $100 to $300 plus. Here's what nobody tells you. Homestays have better hospitality than luxury hotels. I'm talking personal recommendations. Home-cooked dinners you can join, rides to waterfalls at sunrise because the owner's friend needs a ride anyway. Food costs less than you think. Street food, and I'm talking full meals of hoppers, kotu, roti, rice and curry combinations, runs $2 to $4. A sit-down local restaurant? $6 to $10 for a feast. Western cafes where tourists hang? $15 to $30. Beer costs $1 to $3. Soft drinks are $1. The secret? Eat where locals eat. It's literally half the price and twice as good. Transport is almost free. Local buses, 16 cents to $3 per journey depending on distance. A tuk-tuk short hop, $1.40 to $4.20. Long tuk-tuk rides spanning 2 hours, $25 to $40. The famous train that you'll see later in this video? Here's the twist nobody expects. Buying at the station costs under $1 to $8. Online booking costs $15 to $25. Same seat, different algorithm. That's the game. Visa costs $50 to $65 US. Currency exchange. $1 equals roughly 296 to 330 Sri Lankan rupees right now. But that fluctuates constantly. The hack nobody knows. Use the Wise app instead of ATMs. You dodge $5 per withdrawal fees. Let me throw a number at you that hits different. A solo traveler, 7 days. Budget tier, $300 to $400. Total. That includes flights? No, but that's living, eating, and exploring daily. A couple, 10 days mid-range, roughly $900 to $1,100 combined. That's a week's salary in some places, and it covers everything. But here's what changes the game, and I'll explain this later, when you see the actual destinations knowing where to spend and where to save. Completely flips your budget. Some attractions are worth every rupee. Others, you can skip them and still have the same story. Top destinations and the shocking truth. This is where most travel guides fail. They list destinations. They don't tell you what actually matters about each one. Let me change that right now. Sigiriya Rock Fortress. Sigiriya Rock Fortress is the main character. It's a 5th century rock fortress built 180 meters high. It's UNESCO listed. It has ancient frescoes and water gardens at the base that prove someone engineered this 1,500 years ago. Entry, $30 US, worth every single dollar. But here's the retention bomb I promised at the start. Most people climb Sigiriya and regret it. Not because it's not amazing, because they climbed it wrong. They went at noon. 1,200 steps in 38-degree heat. Lungs burning, camera fogging. By step 800, they're questioning their life choices. The fix is simple. Go before 9 AM or after 3:30 PM. You skip the 2 to 3 hour heat window. You avoid 80% of the crowds. You actually enjoy the frescoes instead of just surviving the climb. And I'll tell you later how to maximize this same destination in a way that costs almost nothing. Kandy Ella Train. The Kandy Ella Train isn't just transport. It's one of the world's most scenic train journeys. National Geographic called it beautiful. That wasn't marketing. The train literally hangs off cliffs overlooking tea plantations while misty mountains surround you. You see waterfalls from your seat. People hang out the doors. But watch this. At the station, a first-class reserve seat costs $7.82. At an online travel agency, $20 to $25. Same seat, same train, same view. The only difference is patience. You have to book 24 hours before travel instead of 30 days ahead. Here's the emotional peak. This train ride is worth experiencing, but it's crowded in peak season. December to March? You need elbows. May to September? You might have an entire cabin to yourself. That's the trade-off between comfort and cost. Gala Fort. Gala 4 is free to enter. Free. You walk ramparts built by Dutch colonizers 400 years ago. The lighthouse still works. Streets are cobblestone. People actually live here. It's not a museum, it's a functioning community. The UNESCO site is your playground. The entry fee to the Interior Museum is $1.50 to $2.50 if you want deeper history. Most people skip it. Most people are wrong. But you'll know better because I'm telling you now. Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. Kandy's Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic charges $6.50. It's the holiest Buddhist site in the country. Pilgrims pray here daily. You're not a tourist interrupting, you're witnessing something real. Go early morning or evening when locals worship, not when tour buses arrive. Ella. Ella is where backpackers actually live. Not the hotel backpackers, the real ones who stay 3 weeks and rent scooters. Why? Because Ella costs $10 to $30 per night and has more quality experiences per dollar than anywhere else in the country. Little Adam's Peak hike, 30 to 45 minutes, free, insanely easy, world-class views. Ella Rock hike, 1.5 hours, also free, steeper, even better views. 9. Arch Bridge. Walk to it freely, take your sunset photos, watch trains cross underneath. The pattern interrupt. Ella isn't on every list because it's not an iconic ancient monument, but it's on every traveler's favorite list because it's real. Marissa. Marissa is about whale watching. June to April is the season. Early morning departure, 6:30 a.m. boats are the key. You spend 3 to 5 hours on a vessel. You see blue whales, you see sperm whales, you see dolphins that swim alongside and look at you like friends. The cost? $55 to $80? The memory? Priceless is a cliche, but watching a whale breach creates a moment you describe to people for years. The psychological trigger? This is something you cannot do at home. That rarity matters. Yala National Park. Yala National Park is the wild card. It's Sri Lanka's largest park. Leopards live here. Real leopards. Sloth bears. Elephants. The success rate for leopard sightings is 15% to 20%, not guaranteed, but the highest odds on Earth for leopard spotting. A half-day safari runs $50 to $70 per person depending on group size. But the emotional valley? You might not see a leopard. You might see a bird instead. And you know what? That's still an incredible safari story. Dambulla Cave Temple. Dambulla Cave Temple has 150 Buddha statues, carved 2,000 years ago. The frescoes cover cave walls. It's one of Asia's most preserved Buddhist temples. Entry is $6.50. 2 hours later, you've walked through tangible history. Cultural triangle option. Combine Sigiriya, Dambulla and either Anuradhapura or Polonnaruwa, 2,000-year-old cities where Buddha walked. Total entry fees, $15 to $20. Days needed? 2 to 3 if you actually want to absorb them. The loot returns now. Remember when I said knowing where to spend changes your budget? Sigiriya, the train, Galé Fort and whale watching are worth premium prices. Dambulla, Kandy Temple and Ella hikes? Spend minimal money and get maximum experience. That's the system. Perfect itineraries that actually work. Most itineraries are fantasy. They assume you don't sleep. They assume buses always run on time. They assume you don't get food poisoning. Let me be real. For 5 to 7 days, pick one area. Seriously, don't try to see both mountains and beaches. You'll hate yourself and spend all your time traveling. Option A focuses on culture. Day 1 you arrive, shake off jet lag, maybe explore Colombo if the flight lands early. Day 2 through day 5 you do the cultural triangle. Sigiriya on day 2, early morning. Dambulla and Kandy on day 3. Kandy exploration and temples, day 4. Day 5 you take the train to Ella. Days 6 and 7 you explore Ella hikes, waterfalls, relaxation. Option B focuses on beaches. Days 1 and 2 you're in Galé, rampart walks, fort exploration, sunset dinners. Days 3 and 4 you're in Marissa doing whale watching and beach time. Days 5 and 6 you do a Yala safari. Day 7 is travel buffer or beach relaxation. For 10 days, and this is the sweet spot. Day 1 you land, explore Colombo if there's time, or just sleep. Day 2 you travel to Sigiriya region, 3 hours from Colombo. Day 3, early morning Sigiriya climb, arrive before 8 a.m, spend 2 to 3 hours, rest afternoon. Day 4, visit Dambulla Cave Temple and travel to Kandy, 2 hours combined. Day 5 in Kandy, Temple of the Sacred Tooth in morning, Botanic Gardens afternoon, Lake Walk evening. The temple entrance is $6.50. The gardens are outside the temple zone free or cheap. Day 6 is the train day, but I'm not telling you until later what makes it special. Day 6, Kandy 7 a.m. departure, arrive Ella 2 p.m. You've spent 7 hours on the most scenic train route globally. You see tea plantations at sunrise level, mist and mountains, waterfalls. This is when you realize why people travel. Day 7, Ella Rock hike morning, 6 a.m. start, home by 9 a.m. Afternoon exploring, 9 Arch Bridge, tea estate walks, local restaurants. Evening relaxation. Day 8, travel to Galé, 2.5 hours. Galé Fort exploration, sunset rampart walk. This is where you feel history. Day 9, early morning whale watching from Marissa, 30 minutes from Galé. Or if not in whale season. Yala Safari early departure from another base. Evening beach relaxation. Day 10, buffer day, travel, rest, beach time, or explore wherever you are. Cost breakdown for this 10-day journey. Budget tier, $300 to $500 total. Mid-range, $600 to $900 total. That's excluding flights, but including everything else. The emotional peak here is that you experience cultural immersion, ancient history, one of the world's most beautiful train journeys, natural wonders, and marine life all on one island. All in 10 days, all for less than a month streaming subscriptions. For 14 days, you add depth. Days 1 to 3, you explore Colombo and have actual time to sit in cafes and talk to locals. Days 4 to 6 are cultural triangle with no rushing. You visit Anuradhapura or Polonnaruwa, 2,000-year-old cities, properly instead of speed running them. Day 7, instead of rushing to Ella, you stop in Nuwara Eliya. This is the tea estate capital. You visit working plantations, you see tea being picked, you see tea being processed, you drink fresh tea. This adds a full day of an experience money alone can't buy at home. Days 8 to 10 are Ella with actual time to do multiple hikes, relax, absorb the pace, maybe take a cooking class. Days 11 to 13 are southern coast exploration, Gali, Marissa, possibly Unawatuna Beach nearby. Day 14 is travel and buffer. The pattern interrupt. By day 14, you're not just visiting Sri Lanka, you're living there. Your perspective changes. You stop taking photos and start having conversations. Pro tips that changed the game. Most travel tips are common sense. These aren't. Transportation, reality, trains beat buses, beat flying for your budget and experience. Trains give you scenery. Buses are cheaper but less safe and less interesting. Flying is for jumping between regions when time is critical. Pick Me app is your tuk-tuk secret book via app instead of negotiating. You get fair meter rates. The driver has accountability, everyone wins. The booking strategy. Train tickets go on sale 30 days before departure. Book exactly at day 30 online or wait 24 hours and buy at the station. The station price is 70% cheaper. Online agencies mark up insanely. Accommodations? Book 2 to 3 days ahead. You get flexibility if plans change. You get better rates than online pre-bookings. You get to chat with the host about what actually matters. Activities and tours? Day of booking works for most things. Tour agencies at tourist centres quote inflated prices. Local booking knocks 30% to 50% off. Walk into a hotel lobby and ask the owner's brother who does tours. That's how you find the real prices. Seasonal timing. December through March is peak season. Prices rise 20% to 30%. Crowds multiply. Beaches are perfect. Cultural sites are jam-packed. May through September is monsoon season. Rain happens. Rain creates fresh landscapes. Fewer tourists means authentic interactions. Prices drop 40%. If you're flexible on weather, this is the real deal. Visa and currency. Get your visa online before arriving. 50 to 65 USD, 30 days. Don't do on arrival unless necessary longer lines. Bureaucracy sucks. Exchange rates fluctuate between 296 and 330 rupees per dollar, depending on the day. Use the Wise app for ATM withdrawals. Dodge those $5 per transaction fees that accumulate. The timing hack nobody knows. Sigiriya early morning, before 9 AM, kills crowds and heat. Train rides in morning departures give you daylight scenery. Whale watching. 6:30 AM departure means best conditions and sea state. Hikes in Ella? Start 6 to 7 AM cooler temps and golden light makes photos ridiculously beautiful. Safety and scams. Sri Lanka is genuinely safe. Locals are welcoming. Hospitality is real. But scams exist. Tuk-tuk overcharging if you don't negotiate. Fake gem deals that target tourists. Unofficial guides claiming official sites are closed. Their lying sites operate daily. Trust official channels? ask at hotels before leaving, and your experience will be 100% better. Practical cultural fact: Poya days, full moon nights, have no alcohol sales. Plan meal times accordingly. Dress modestly at temples, shoulders, and knees covered. Remove shoes inside. This is basic respect that locals appreciate. The language advantage: English is widely spoken. Communication isn't a barrier. That's rare in Asia and changes how comfortable you feel. Why now is the real moment. Here's why 2025 is different from every other year. To visit Sri Lanka. The economy recovered, infrastructure improved. That means smoother travel, better road conditions, and cleaner accommodations. But more importantly, fewer tourists flooded back compared to 2024. There's this magical window right now where places aren't overcrowded, yet prices haven't jumped back to pre-pandemic levels. The value proposition is obscene. Budget travelers spend $30 to $40 daily. That's genuinely affordable, but the quality of experience doesn't match the price. You're not settling, you're living well for almost nothing. The diversity is insane. 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 300 plus kilometers of coastline, mountains reaching 2,500 meters, ancient Buddhist temples, 2,000-year-old cities, safari experiences with leopards, whale watching, train rides off cliffs, tea plantations you can walk through. Most destinations force you to choose culture or nature or beaches. Sri Lanka says, pick all three. One island. Infinite experiences. The emotional reality: this destination works for solo travelers, couples, families, and groups. Budget travelers, luxury travelers, adventure seekers, culture enthusiasts, everyone finds their story. The practical reality: you can plan this yourself, no expensive tour operators required. Booking apps work. English speakers help. Your money goes directly to locals instead of corporate middlemen. So here's what you're sitting on. A destination where $40 daily gets you private rooms, incredible food, and world-class experiences. Where one train ride becomes your favorite travel memory. Where you climb 5th century fortresses, watch whales breach, and hike through mist-covered mountains all on the same trip. The Sigiriya experience I hinted at earlier. That early morning timing changes everything. The whale watching payoff? That's real wonder. The train views? That's why people travel. Sri Lanka in 2025 offers the best cost-to-experience ratio in South Asia. Period. Don't just watch travel videos, go live the story. Comment below which destination you're visiting first. Share this with someone planning their next adventure. Subscribe for more budget travel breakdowns. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss when we reveal hidden destinations others miss. Your adventure starts when you commit. Make that decision now.